All right, let's talk about beetroot. It's one of those superfoods you hear about all the time. But today, we're going to dig into the science and explore what the research really says about its potential role as a complementary food in cancer care. So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll tackle the big question head on. Then we'll get into what indirect evidence even means, and we'll zoom in on a really specific biomarker. After that, we'll see what beetroot actually does to those markers, look at a surprising connection to your gut, and then finally, we'll put all the pieces together. All right, let's just dive right into the heart of the matter, shall we? This is the big question, isn't it? Can beetroot actually help fight cancer? It's a really powerful idea because the thought that a simple, natural food could make a real difference is incredibly compelling. But we've got to follow the science. Okay, let's be crystal clear about this because it's the most important thing we're going to say today. As of right now, there is no direct scientific evidence showing that beetroot can treat, cure, or improve survival from cancer. Full stop. So you're probably thinking, if it's not a cure, why are we even talking about it? And that's a great question. It's because the conversation is shifting. Instead of looking for a direct knockout punch, researchers are exploring how beetroot might support the body's overall internal environment. And that's where this idea of indirect evidence comes in. Think of it this way. It's not about attacking cancer cells head-on. It's about improving the conditions around them. It's about looking at whether beetroot can help with things like inflammation and cellular stress, the kinds of things that can create an environment where cancer might have an easier time growing. And where are we actually seeing these effects? Well, human studies have shown that beetroot can have a real impact in 4 key areas: the health of your blood vessels, your body's overall level of inflammation, something called oxidative stress, which is like wear and tear on your cells, and even the diversity of the friendly microbes living in your gut. Now, let's zoom in on one of those areas, oxidative stress, and meet a specific biomarker that scientists are really paying close attention to. They're called advanced oxidation protein products, which, yeah, is a mouthful. So let's just call them AOPPs. You can basically think of AOPPs as little flags in your body that signal there's a high level of oxidative stress and inflammation going on. They're a measure of that cellular wear and tear. And here's why that matters so much. This isn't just some random number from a lab test. Research has found a powerful link between high levels of these AOPs and poorer outcomes for cancer patients. So naturally, finding ways to lower them is a really interesting area of research. Okay, so if high AOPPs are a problem, the next logical question is, does beetroot actually do anything about them? Let's take a look at what the data from human studies shows. And the results are, well, pretty striking. Now, this particular study was on patients with osteoarthritis, not cancer. But because osteoarthritis is also driven by inflammation, the findings are really relevant. After just 10 days on a beetroot extract, this group saw their AOPP levels drop by almost 48%. That is a huge change in a very short amount of time. But you might be wondering, does it matter how you consume it? Raw juice versus cooked beets? Well, according to the science, it just might. Some studies have found that while both are good, raw beetroot juice seems to pack a bigger punch when it comes to improving blood vessel health and lowering inflammation markers. This little table shows that difference perfectly. Just look at these 2 key inflammation markers. With the raw beetroot juice, that's RBJ, the reduction was significantly lower. So yeah, it seems like how you prepare it could really make a difference. And the benefits seem to be pretty widespread. The research also points to all-around better blood vessel health. We're talking more flexible arteries, your blood being less sticky, and even lower blood pressure and lower levels of that bad LDL cholesterol. It's really about improving the whole system. But the story doesn't actually end in our blood. There's another really fascinating layer to all this, and it's happening deep inside our gut. That's right, we're talking about the microbiome. New research is showing that beetroot can act as what's called a prebiotic. Basically, it's food for the good bacteria that live in your gut, and feeding them can lead to really positive changes in that whole ecosystem. And the research is getting super specific here. It's not just a vague, it helps your gut. We're seeing that beetroot consumption can boost the population of specific good guys, like Akkermansia and Rosebaria. I mean, these are like the rock stars of the microbial world, well known for helping to reduce inflammation and improve our metabolism. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. Direct versus indirect evidence, biomarkers, the microbiome. Let's pull all these threads together and figure out what the big takeaway is. So here's the thought process. Step 1. Acknowledge there is no direct evidence that this is a cure. We have to start there. Step 2. Reframe its role as providing indirect support for the body. Step 3. Focus on the things it can do, like its measurable impact on those biomarkers. Which leads us to the conclusion: think of it as a potential complementary food, not a standalone treatment. And at the end of the day, the whole point of knowing this stuff is empowerment. It's not about going out and trying to treat yourself. It's about giving you the language and the data to have a smarter, more collaborative conversation with your oncologist and your whole healthcare team. And just to really hammer that point home, let's end with this direct quote from the source material. This information is not medical advice. The goal is to enable active engagement with your oncologist. That says it all, right? So we'll leave you with this question to chew on. Knowing that certain foods can have these measurable indirect effects on your body, how might that change the conversations you have about nutrition and your overall health plan? That's all for this one. Thanks for joining us.